Well, since you're still here, I guess I owe you a bit of an explanation here as to what's going on. This is a 1960s era International front-end loader. The engine was completely seized up when I found it. But the cool thing about this tractor is it's got this front completely boxed in loader frame, which the front axle is actually mounted to the loader frame, which is unusual for these older tractors because quite often the front axle is mounted to the engine, which makes removing the engine for an electrification project a bit more difficult. In this case, the engine comes out independently, the front wheels stay where they are, and that loader frame provides a really nice structure into which I can shoehorn a bunch of batteries and electronics and motors and all of those things. So what you've just seen is the first step. I need to reinforce that loader frame because it actually had some stress cracks in it from its previous apparently very hard life as a front-end loader. So I've begun the process of reinforcing that loader frame, and then there's a whole long list of modifications to be made in the future. But some of the next steps are getting an adapter plate made for the electric motor, which I pulled out of a forklift, so that I can mount that to the existing bell housing and the transmission input shaft. That'll require some help, I believe. I'm not a machinist. I don't have access to those kinds of tools. I have access to a torch and a welder and very basic tools here. So I'm going to try and keep this as basic as possible, but there are some steps in the process where I will need some professional help. So up until now, I've basically just been stripping this tractor down and fixing things that needed to be fixed. And now I'm finally getting into making the modifications specifically for the electrification process, which hopefully will be somewhat informative or at least entertaining for somebody out there. This is likely to be quite a long and drawn out process, but I'm happy to have you along for the ride.